I don't know, there's a lot of different events going on tonight, but I want to thank you for coming to my Thanksgiving party. But seriously, hopefully you're here for our Design Connection event. If you're not, please stay. Please stay, we love having people here. This is a great, first of all, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Susan Wolfe. I'm one of many of us who are responsible for Design Connection, and we'll talk a little bit about that this evening. But we're joined together tonight to have a little bit of a wrap up to 2024. We on a regular basis, on an annual basis, we've always done a holiday event that we used to call a mega meetup. We've got a fancy name this year. We've decided to call it Design Connection. That represents 3 different groups here in Sydney: Creative Customer Experience, Enterprise UX Sydney, and Sydney Design Thinking. And so we come together, there are separate events, and then we come together from time to time. So tonight's one of those events where we're all here together. And before we begin, of course, I would like to just acknowledge the fact that we're here tonight on Gadigal country, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, and would also like to pay my respects to elders both past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders present with us this evening. So, thank you so much for coming. It's been a year. I don't know what you think of 2024, but it's been a year. And I started thinking about the kinds of things that we've done here in Sydney, and I reflected on what Design Connection collectively has done. So again, the 3 organizations, as well as when we bring them all together. And as it turns out, we've had quite a year. And if you think about it, it's pretty cool. I mean, these 28 events that we managed to put on this year aren't all the events in Sydney. How many of you are here for the first time? There's a handful of you. Wow. So that's great. So presumably some of you may have been to even other events, and there are so many events tonight. In fact, if I weren't here, there were about 4 other things I would have liked to attend tonight. Interestingly, I just came back from San Francisco, where I also spend a lot of time, and I was home for a month. And in that month, I went to 1 event. We probably go to like 3 events a week here. We could, right? I mean, and so I think we are so incredibly fortunate to have the community that we have in Sydney, and it's thanks to all of you that make this happen. If you can read the kind of small print, for those of you who are regulars at some of our events, I'd be curious to hear, how many of you have been to more than like 10 of these events? Yeah, Ben. You ran 10 of these events. Yeah, I mean, I've been to a lot of them, and a lot of you have been to a lot of them as well. And the reason I put this up here is just to showcase the vast variety of events that we've had. And you know, I'm really pleased to look at this list and say, first of all, they're not all about AI. That's no and I think we are very pragmatic here, and we know that AI is a means to an end. And so that's kind of the theme that we think about when we think about AI or any of the topics. But if you look, there's just such a variety of things about, you know, what we do, how we do it, who we do it with, the way we do it, and about our general well-being as well. And I think it just goes to show you just sort of the breadth of the impact that we can and should have. And so I'm really pleased when I look at that list. And again, this is just the four groups coming together, the 3 groups plus when we do things together. So that's just a little bit about some of the topics. The other thing I wanted to share was a little bit about the speakers that we've had. over those 28 conversations. And I purposely didn't put them in any particular order. I was telling Ben that I used something that I discovered is, did you know that word clouds are passé now? I learned that when I was looking up. But anyway, you know, I'm old, so that's fine. I can still use them.
Not when they look like that.
But not when they look cool. So yeah, I just have to make them look cool, and then it's fine. But the reason I wanted to do this was because I didn't want to necessarily impose an order, and I didn't want to even put the names next to the topics, because I think what's interesting is just, again, thinking about those topics, and then just thinking about the variety of people that we've had speaking. And if you look at these, and you know, some of you will notice your names. Some of you will remember that you were at the talks and heard some of these people. But one of the things that's really kind of cool about this is just, again, the variety here. The variety, and not obviously in the, yes, we've had girls and boys, but also just the variety of backgrounds, the variety of perspectives, the variety of, you know, of life stories. And so I think it's really cool when we think about that. So again, this is something that we can reflect on as we think about what we accomplished collectively, you know, in 2024. Now I need to bring up all my buddies here. Buddies. If your name's on this list, you're a buddy. If your name's not on this list, you're still a buddy. But I just don't have your name on the list. These are just obviously some of the many people who are allowed. You're not in any kind of order, but you see, there's some branding going on. There's a little bit of branding going on, but not completely.
I'm off brand.
You are off brand today.
Adam's Ziva cool.
Adam, yeah.
I'm on brand.
And Vera and I, because we were the design connection, because
You're the backbone.
we're the backbone. So this is our branding, necklaces and our branding. Yeah. But it's these fine people that organize a lot of these events, as well as some others that couldn't be here this evening.
As in,
But I also definitely want to acknowledge there are a lot of other people behind the scenes. And so particularly I want to give thanks to our sponsors. So Stokesy is also, so we put Atlassian at the top of the list because we're here.
Thanks for hosting, Stokesy.
But not only did they,
I made all the snacks.
yeah, she personally cut up every single tomato. Yeah. No, but we could not, certainly multiple groups could not do what we do if it wasn't for the support that we get from Atlassian and support from you and the support from people who support all the events, all of your Atlassian team that comes along, and some of them are here, some of them are also here. Oh,
how many people can we get
come
on
on,
the
other
stage?
people. If you have a logo up there, your name, you belong up here. Yeah.
And all of our awesome attendees.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Group photo.
But anyway, no, we could not do this without our sponsors, without our venue sponsors, without our food sponsors, without our you know, the workhorse sponsors, etc. And it's just been a fabulous opportunity to do this for the year. So
Off
thank
the
you.
stage.
You will have noticed, though, that it's not just about us talking, and we wanted this to be about you as well. And so,
Mostly about you.
and so you will notice that there are some Post-it notes lying around. If you haven't found them, please come up here and find them. I had this evil idea that I was going to put a Post-it note in every drink glass in there so that you couldn't pour a drink until you wrote something on a Post-it note. It didn't work very well for the beer, so I decided against it. But we'd really, really love to hear from you about some of your big takeaways for this past year. And we've got some space on the walls to do that. You'll see there's butcher's paper with places for Post-it notes, and we'd love to hear some of your big takeaways about what you saw, good, bad, and otherwise, about 2024. Anybody game to just shout one out right now? Don't be shy. Yeah. Connections, okay. Can someone put that on a Post-it note and put that up on the wall? Thank you very much. Okay.
People, connections, relationships, and inspiration.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. I don't want to take too much of your time doing this because 24 is almost over. Thankfully. I mean, no. What I'm more interested in having you do is give us some ideas of your aspirations for next year. And not only is that going to be just cathartic for us, but also it's going to maybe help us plan some interesting events, things that you would love to be part of. So if you only write one Post-it note, can you write it about your aspirations for 2025? And can you make it sure that you put it on the right sheet so we know whether it was a complaint about 24 or something you'd like to see more of in 2025? All right. I don't want to take too much time because I know I'm standing between you and more pizza and drinks. But what I want to do is I just want to give a plug to what's coming up. So Kevin, do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah. Just quickly, thanks to everybody that made our return to live meetups so successful this year, and wanted to also say thank you so much to Sarah for having us back. And we will be back next year in 2025. Just go to the QR code and check out our page, and there will be some announcements soon. And our first event is on the 11th of February, not in this room, in another room.
And not in 2024, but 2025.
2025, there you go. There you go. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Susan. Awesome to have a final event tonight. Thanks for everyone from EUX who's come as well. Reflection, brutal. Next year, optimistic, hopeful. So hopefully you can join us at our first meetup in March next year, 26th of March, Wednesday. It'd be really cool that you could join us. We haven't named any of our speakers, so isn't that just exciting? We've also got stuff happening in Melbourne and Canberra as well, so if you jump onto the meetup you'll be able to see EUX, Syd, Melbourne and Canberra, but obviously Sydney tonight. So thank you, Susan, for all the support that you give us, and thank you, Vera, as well, for all the support you give us, and for the community for making this all happen, because it's really lovely to share how brutal it's been, because sometimes you need people to talk to, and I really appreciated that, so thank you, everyone.
Hello. So, looking forward to another big year of SydDT in 2025. It's been a big year again this year. We're going to kick off in February with Alan and Diana, who are both in the room. There they are. From Shapeshifters. So they're going to be doing a visual storytelling, what are we calling it? Visual thinking? Yes, visual thinking workshop. So it's going to be a workshop format, and ThoughtWorks, Kate and ThoughtWorks are hosting us for February. International Women's Day will be our March one, and then later in March I'm going up to Byron and speaking at IXDA Byron Bay and running workshop and stuff up there, and a whole calendar planned out. June will be our 10th birthday, so that's a big milestone. And we should also hit our 10,000 member mark sometime around there. If you're not already part of SydDT, then you can get us a little bit closer to the 10,000 members. Just hit the QR code. But plenty of awesome stuff coming up, and echoing what everyone said, thanks to all the awesome people and crew that we get to do this with, and most importantly, the community. and that's why we do it all. So thank you, and final words from Susan.
And those are my final words. Ben just stole my words. Anyway, I now declare it's time to continue drinking. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Have a lovely. Oh, one more thing. Ben has the socials.
Afters.
The afters.
So
You do it.
no, you do it.
You the offie?
The Occidental, when we get kicked out of here,
At
which
8
is
o'clock?
probably about 8 o'clock. Well, not probably, it is. So we'll be continuing at the Occidental on the corner of York and Erskine. Anyone that's been to SydDT before is very familiar.
Thank you.